Chazz. Clarence Ross is my birth name, and these are the instruments I love to play. I'm going to take you on a short journey through the places, the times, and the instruments that I love to play. Hope you enjoy the show.
Hey Clarence, how you doing, brother?
Fine, fine.
A crazy amount of instruments you got there. Everything that could possibly make a sound. So, maybe give me a brief description on some of the roles that some of these percussion instruments play in music. Sure.
Well, actually, the amount of instruments in percussion is endless. I mean, anything from a spoon to a knife to a fork to a rock can be percussive instruments. If you like the sound, then use it. But I think I can group these into two basic kinds. One is the Latin instruments, and the other is the African instruments. The Latin instruments have a much greater tonal quality. They sound more beautiful. They're prettier. They're melodic. Whereas the African instruments have a tendency to be flatter, earthier, and more rougher sound. And that's just a rough description. What I've done throughout my exposure to music is try to define which instruments fit best for what music. And I found that, believe it or not, I can actually mix them. But for the most part, when I'm doing the more upbeat, up-tempo type music with larger bands, I play more of the Latin type instruments. For one, the more brilliant sound comes across clearer, whereas the African instruments is much more flatter and doesn't mix as well with the upbeat music. Not to say that African music isn't upbeat, but what you have is a whole different type of sound. So like you have the timbales, which are very bright, the congas, which are very bright, where over here you have the djembes, which are a much flatter sound, although the djembe is one of the loudest instruments there is. The djembe was designed for calls, in other words, to call all the other musicians around in the jungle when, of course, there were no telephones and no megaphones and no other instrument. So what you have here is all kinds of different noisemakers, and all the instruments have their own personality and fit in special ways and into different type music depending on what's played. So what I've got here is instruments from all around the world.
So which one is your favorite instrument?
Well, believe it or not, this set of bongos is about 30 years old.
That's part of the percussive family.
The
symbol, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just showing off.
Yeah.
So you say those small bongos?
Yes, those are my favorite. If anything happened to those, I would flip. The reason why is they're about 30 years old and they're very rare. They're rare because of the size. Your standard bongos are here and here, there. But these are, I call super quinto bongos. They're very small, and they're very hard to find, and they're uniquely designed. They have a spirituality of all their own. When I play them, it just comes out. I don't know what happens, but I just allow myself to rest my hands, and the spirit just does the rest.
So in your opinion, what makes a real good percussionist?
A real good percussionist needs to have good ears, meaning he needs to be able to listen to other people and other musicians. He has to hear where his placement goes. The rudiments of percussion are fairly simple. I mean, many people can easily grasp those and can play well solo. But a good percussionist has to be able to listen to what's going on within the group, what other musicians are doing, and be able to converse. In other words, just like any other language, music is a language, and I have to be able to answer other people. I listen to the bass, I answer, I listen to the singer, and I recall. I never step on other people. I never talk at the same time. The hardest part and one of the most difficult parts to master as far as being a good percussionist is the ability to listen and have split-second timing to know when to talk. Because the worst thing is a rambling on percussionist who's stepping all over the music.
So what are some of the future goals for yourself in your music?
Well, I enjoy large crowds. I guess I'm spoiled, but I enjoy large crowds, and I guess it's the love I get to give back to people. The more people I can give it back to at any one setting, the better I feel. Plus, I feed off the energy of a large crowd. Now, of course, I've done studio work, but I don't get the feedback that I do when I'm doing a live performance and the crowd is roaring and my hands just take off and the spirit just comes and I just float.
So do you have to use a different type of technique in the studio as opposed to your live performances?
The studio is a whole different animal, and it took me a long time to even begin to master it. I don't know if I have. The studio requires split-second exact timing.
Oh, good. Try
Whereas
one
a
more time.
live
Okay, one more time?
performance is
All
more
right.
a conversation, and of course you know whenever you're talking to someone, you never know what they're going to say. So the live performance requires much more listening, whereas the studio performance requires much more timing. And of course both, I have to listen, but the studio performance is usually already structured and I just have to play to exact specifications. The live performance, I let the spirit come in and just take me away.
Do you enjoy traveling? Do you have any future goals of doing any tours?
I love to travel, and I love traveling with groups. I'm currently traveling with Carnival on the Carnival line. We're doing shows up and down the West Coast, and I hope to be going to the Caribbean pretty soon with various other groups. And wherever I can travel, wherever I can play, wherever I can find a new audience, people that haven't heard me, I just love.
Great. So could you briefly tell me about some of the performances that you've had in the last 3 months?
Sure.
Or maybe your favorite date?
Sure.
Last piece is a piece that I dedicate to the G's, the hustlers, the players, the playettes, and all the men and women who try to keep them. And it's called A Player's Song. Ooh, girl, now you got me screaming like a bitch. Such a high pitch escape these lips, but I ain't ashamed. Nah, I'm too busy screaming out your name. Now to fan these flames is gonna take some time, so you take your time as you continue to blow.
Tell mama not to moan.
No.
And Al Green said, I said Al Green said he is fresh out of and he ain't eating no more hot grits, not anymore. And I'd be so sad. I said I'd be so sad because silence.
Light here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of listening when you're doing poetry, because people never have the same rhythm, they never have the same cadence, they never have the same speed or timing, and the words change too. So a lot of times I've just got to read it and look and watch the hands, watch the eyes. A lot of fun, a lot of hard work, but I make it look like it's easy. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They seem to really feel comfortable with you behind them.
Yeah, and I just love working with people. And tonight I'm in with the Clue Band, and I'm just playing the whole night, and we're just having a ball. Most of the time it's your basic songs, and then they get crazy, and I watch the main guy, and I fill in where I can, accent where I can, and just make the music happen, bring it alive.
Well, I was very impressed with the bass player, man. That dude.
He was bad.
Oh, the Clueless?
Yeah.
That's a bad boy, dude.
He's bad. The whole band and it was really good. But every night or every other night they feature different guys with the group.
This your first time at the Hollywood Athletic Club?
About the fourth time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's about my spirit. I just feel it. I basically have the wherewithal to play the instrument from a physical standpoint, but to make it work within the group or within the band, I have to feel it.
So when you speak of a physical aspect, is there any special physical activity that you do that helps you to gain your discipline and balance with your percussion instrument?
Well, I thought about that, and I didn't realize it, but I'm an Advent martial artist since I was about 14 or 15. And I realized that rhythm is extremely important in the martial arts. And I've been able to incorporate that into the music and didn't know it. Now I realize what has happened with me, the spirit world from the martial arts, from the rhythms of the fighting, of the techniques and the flowing and the dance, all come through when I'm playing my music. Also, I'm an artist. I was a graphic artist. I worked for a TV station for a while doing graphic news backdrops. And within the art world itself is visually, there's a lot of rhythm. And also, I see that on people's faces. I read that, and I've been able to incorporate it in my music and my playing.
I see. That's great. So you just have some sort of balance and bond.
I think I can even say it more simply. They're all one.
They're all at one.
They're all one. In other words, the same way I might use my hands as far as fighting techniques and the flowing and rhythm, is the same basic pattern that I might use on the drums. Mm-hmm. It's all the same.
I saw your performance at UCLA.
Right.
That was something I never witnessed before. I never seen anything like it. It was awesome.
Come on with me. Let's show you something. Skip. There.
Guess that's the answer.
Kenny's a master.
I told him to catch him in his act. Catch him in his act. Yeah.
Drum you were doing there?
That's a drummer. That's a drummer. It's actually a Junjun. Because this is the one I was telling you.
Okay.
Oh.
Right, the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's playing the bass.
Two sides.
See, it has two sides.
Okay.
But the drummer usually only has one side.
I
was playing it like a drummer because I wanted a certain sound. So I wanted to be able to walk with it. And it's a little easier to walk the other way.
Oh, okay. So what about your costume there? Is it
came loose?
okay, you just got a little bit left there.
Hey, I was born like this. I'm sorry.
Okay. That was a very unique and outstanding performance.
Thank you.
By you guys.
This is my drum teacher, Javuzi Bojangles.
Thank you very kindly.
Okay. And he's been a guy I know Goose for a couple years now, and he's really helped me a whole lot with my drumming and understanding timing and the art. Take me back to the motherland.
That's a
gift to you.
Yeah, and this is the gift. This drum was my gift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good student for 1 year.
All right. Yeah, okay.
Many people believe that all the instruments and everything originated in Africa, and I'm not sure about that. But as far as the show you saw me with the sticks, and I was rotating the sticks, which is the same way in the martial arts you use a screamer sticks. It's no real difference. It's all a rhythm of rotation, and it's very smooth. And I incorporated it and didn't even know what I was doing when I first started doing it.
And also that I also saw another performance of yours in Santa Monica with all those children.
I don't know. They're just having a good time. It's great. They're kind of young, so it's hard for them to get any really rhythm. But they're just having a good time with the instruments right now. And all you want them to do now, we want them to just be familiar with the instruments and have a good time. But as you can see, it might not make a recording, but they sound okay, you know. I'm trying. The groups are so different. It's hard for me to coordinate. But as long as I keep my eye on the equipment, I'm all right. It's a game. I tell you, if you can't stop on time, you're going to sit out. Okay? Try to stay in the game. You ready? I don't know who that was. To watch me as though they were in an orchestra or in a band or whatever, and get sensitive to playing at the same time watching people, because it's very important when you're playing music in a band that you have to watch the leader and you have to be aware of what's going on beside you at all times, because if the music moves, it does things different, and music is spontaneous. If you're not paying attention, you can get lost and you can step on people.
So you saw the concept of rhythm, basically.
Eyes open too. Yeah, and the kids are really, because they're easily distracted, it's a very hard thing for them to do. It's hard for them to start and stop. You know, it's something that's just that simple, but they don't pay attention. Sometimes I play with people and they get too much into their music and they're not paying attention to what's going on around them, so they lose sight of the flow and the interaction with everybody else. So it's just a little small thing for the kids. Well, you know, I was caught on the spot, and a lot of my instruments are very expensive, and I was caught on the spot to let the children play with the instruments, but I immediately felt that nothing would happen, and nothing did. I couldn't believe it, but I do believe it. All my instruments came back to me with a much greater spirituality than when they left me.
That was great. So, also the athletic club there was some pretty awesome musicians you were playing with there.
Yes, and singers too. That was very, very unique to me because I wasn't properly monitored to actually hear. So that was one of the rare times that I've been caught on tape where you probably didn't know, but I was lip reading the whole time. I couldn't hear at all.
Call it what it is, a nigga citation. Then brothers would have more to talk about. Hey man, how many nigga citations you have? But here's the catch though. You can only get one nigga citation per month. So when the CCA pulls you over and you already have your nigga citation for the month, guess what? You off the hook. So it all works out for the best. Because crooked cops, if you're going to be crooked, be straightforward about your crookedness. Because believe me, you ain't fooling none of us.
Oh my God.
So it seemed to work out when I finally saw the tape. But at the time, I had no idea how my playing would sound, or was sounding.
Great. And also, too, the African ensemble, the Sons of Nigrisha, the type of drumming you do with them.
Yeah. Now that's my favorite. What happens is if you do anything repetitive enough, it becomes automatic, and there's a feeling, there's a warmth, there's a spirituality where you become one and you don't feel anything, you're just floating. Spirituality where you become one and you don't feel anything, you're just floating. When I'm playing with the Asphalt Jungle, the Nagrites, I just love it because I'm right there with the earth. We're doing earth sounds, earth tones, and it's very, very repetitive. But at the same time, I try not to make it boring. So every so often I'll accent, but the repetitiveness is what drives and what gives you energy and what keeps you going. It's just like our heartbeat. It's a repetitive rhythm. Although it's not constant in a regular technical sense, it's always there. It speeds up, it slows down. And what happens is I try to connect my energy and my playing with my rhythm along with the rhythms of the people I'm playing.
Also, too, I had the pleasure to check you out at Patterson. Tell me about that. That all of a sudden you broke out with the harmonica. Now, that's not a percussion instrument. What's up with that?
Well, now, good question. Just about anything, any instrument can be a percussion instrument, but it's distinguished in the instrument world in terms of you have to separate so the stores know what to sell and where to sell it.
Good, Clarence. All right.
Yeah. Making up. He's making up.
Y'all act like y'all not ready to go yet.
harmonica is a special, very, very special instrument to me because I struggled and struggled to learn how to play it. And for some odd reason, I pulled it out that night and it just worked. I don't know where it came from.
You surprised the band and everybody else. It was great.
Well, the greatest surprise was me. Conga and a lot of other fellows.
What drum is that you got there?
This is called a junjun. A junjun.
Juju.
Yeah, junjun. And it's open. It has two heads. It has a head at the top and a head at the bottom. It's normally played sideways, but today I'm playing it like a drummer.
Oh, okay.
The drummer drum has one head and the bottom's open.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of bass to it, man.
Yeah.
It was holding down the bass a lot.
Well, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm like the father. I'm supposed to keep everybody in line.
Okay.
And the higher pitches talk, so I let the higher pitches talk.
Yeah, well, what do you got there? You don't have sticks? Those are like mallets, huh?
Yeah, they're just homemade mallets, big old sticks, and they're just heavy on the end. And I just let it flow.
So tell me this, as a drummer, what is some of your natural inspirations when you get ready to get down, man?
Well, I'm mainly listening a lot. I gotta hear everybody else, and I gotta hear what everybody else is playing, because I can easily mess up, and I have to lock in on everybody else.
I see, concentration.
Yeah.
Okay, is this what part is this? Is African drum, right?
This is the African drum, but there are different variations around the world, but this is called a drummer in Africa, and a junjun in Africa, but in other parts of the world, it's called a different drum. It might be a different pitch.
Is it a particular part of Africa?
Usually Senegal, Guinea, deeper in Africa, that most of the drums come from. But they're from all over, really.
So tell me, man, when did you first start playing drums? I know it started a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I think I was about 14 or 15, and I just started playing. I was playing bongos for a while, and then I worked my way up to congas. And then I took a long break, and then I came out to California, and I started up again.
So tell me, do you do a lot of African drumming inside of jazz music?
Yeah, I play with the African dance group, and I dance a lot, too.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll have to check that out at some point.
Yeah, that would be real nice.
Okay. Looks like it's getting kind of, looks stormy looking out here,
Right.
so hope we don't bring the rain on with all
Well,
these
if we were
drums.
Indians, we'd be making it rain.
Exactly. Hope not too soon.
Right.
Okay, we're getting back with you then.
Okay.
Left Maryland, and you left Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I got the hell out of East St. Louis.
Railroad sign, that old locomotive hit Willie Square, knocked that Cadillac in the air, knocked that caddy clean into space, and didn't even leave a single trace. Well, that caddy made it without a dent and went into a high Earth orbit where Willie met Almighty God, who by the way thought it was odd to see clean-head Willie floating there in a Cadillac without a care.
With the 360 degrees of weed which you call us, I can never get enough of the madness of your funky stuff. I'm addicted, it's addict, it's true. Cause I got strong love, you. once again.
Certainly, it's been a pleasure to. Really did enjoy the tape. So stay with it.
Thank you very much.